Limitations forced me to be creative. There's an old urban legend about Ernest Hemingway, the American novelist. The legend says that he was challenged by a friend and colleague to write a 6-word story. He went on to write his famous novelette, For Sale, Baby Shoes, Never Worn. I thought about my own story and how I could sum that up into just 6 words. And in doing that, I came up with the title of this talk. Limitations forced me to be creative. When I was 16 years old, I dropped out of high school and received a general equivalency diploma. I started working full-time and helping my family as much as I could. For many years, we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was me, my mother, my grandmother, and 6 younger siblings. Now, we never really had the need for anything except more space. But we worked together, we paid bills, and we tried to move up in the world. But life brought new challenges every day, and at 18 years old, I became a mother. And all I wanted to do was give my son everything I didn't have growing up. But I wasn't quite sure how to do that. But what I did know was that there was one clear path to success, and that was school. So that's where I decided to start. I ended up at my community college in the town where I lived. You see, my higher education options were a little limited by the fact that I had a general equivalency diploma and not a high school diploma. After meeting with a college advisor, I decided on a career called occupational therapy assistant. I didn't know much about the job, but the outlook sounded promising. I knew there wouldn't be any night shifts, and the earliest classes started at 9 a.m. You see, again, I was a little limited on which program or degree option I could choose because I had single parent responsibilities. I had a little boy in kindergarten who needed me to drop him off and pick him up from school every day. And frankly, I didn't have the money for childcare. Occupational therapy assistant was the best choice I had available to me. I made it through the admissions process and orientation, which wasn't easy. And then it was time for me to start my 2-year journey into becoming an occupational therapy assistant. After the first week of classes, I knew that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. If you don't know, occupational therapy practitioners are healthcare providers who spend their days working with people from all walks of life, helping them to adapt to barriers that limit independence. As practitioners, we get to know clients on a very intimate level, finding out what motivates them in order to develop very personalized and meaningful treatment plans. There are 2 career paths under the umbrella of the profession. You can choose to be an occupational therapist or an occupational therapy assistant. The 2 providers then work in partnership to develop and deliver occupational therapy services to clients. Now, since graduating in 2013, I've had such a full career as an occupational therapy assistant. I've also been able to further my education and earn additional degrees that have helped me be a better provider. I've gone up and down the East Coast as a travel healthcare worker. I've observed orthopedic surgeons perform new groundbreaking surgeries. I've been a part of a team of providers working to rehabilitate NFL players. I've also helped a retired secretary learn to write her name after 2 strokes, and a mom, younger than me, learn how to care for her children after a double mastectomy. More recently, I've had the privilege of sharing my knowledge and experience as an educator, teaching future practitioners. I love what I do. Occupational therapy changed the trajectory of my path. And it's the only career I know of where I get to be a living mosaic of everyone who ever had an impact on my life. I get to use the crafting skills my mother taught me to create fine motor and dexterity activities for clients. I use the cooking skills my grandmother taught me to understand how to help others adapt to their own kitchen tools so they can prepare meals for their families. And I use the knowledge I've gained from countless practitioners across the country when I'm problem solving through complex cases. Now, like so many other professions, there's always talk. Right now, there's talk about the value and the role of the occupational therapy assistant, especially compared to the occupational therapist, who traditionally has more independence in practice. Rumors spread that this is a dying profession, that there are no jobs, and that it's a waste of time to earn the degree. But that's not true. The skill set of an occupational therapy assistant is too broad to be categorized as an unemployable profession. Occupational therapy as a practice is rooted in mental health. And I don't know if I've lived through a time where there have been more mental health needs than there are right now. The traditional job market is providing limitations, and that's forcing us to be creative with our scope of practice and look at branching out from the traditional model that we're used to. Options for occupational therapy assistants expand far beyond hospitals, far beyond skilled nursing facilities, far beyond schools. We can work in driver rehabilitation, helping people adapt their cars so they can participate in driving safely. We can work in aging in place, helping people to make modifications to their homes so they can live independently for as long as possible. There's pain management, where we can work to reduce the opioid epidemic. And there's also primary care, where we can address preventative measures to health and wellness. And these are just a few examples. No matter your profession, no matter what your future career goals, limiting factors are going to come up. And this is where having goals and a network of people can be extremely beneficial to overcoming those limitations and getting creative with the resources already at your disposal. One of the most valuable resources we can all have is other people. People to challenge us to write 6-word stories, to take a leap of faith on a new business, to watch our kids while we take classes to finish up that degree. So I will leave you with 2 challenges. The first, be intentional about broadening your network. Join a social media group, join a committee, or maybe another volunteer initiative. And finally, I'm giving you the same challenge that Hemingway was given. I challenge you to write your own 6-word story. Thank you.